Okay, we decided to flip the camera back on. Been sitting with Brian, Matt, and Sue, and we've been powwowing for well over an hour. And I want to emphasize again that the should ask question, the frequently asked question, the should ask question process is really a process of studying any innovations, patents, systems, any distinctions in your products that can help the marketer and the website developer, and even in the use of your keyword and theme clusters, position your product and brand distinctly in the market. And that's part of becoming more and more to be part of the job of the online consultant or the online business consultant. We consider ourselves more than just SEOs. We consider ourselves as positioning, branding, keyword, super crunching, all of it. And that's why you can get paid so much money. And what invariably happened as we began to go through the process talking with Brian is we realized that we need to review the client's own industry questions and innovations, because the company's patents, their distinctions, their processes are all a part of how you create distinction. And that distinction is how you position your should ask question, because you're always coming from a position of why you invented your product or system in the first place. And if that product or system doesn't really create better questions, and if you're not able to take frequently asked questions and slide them over towards your product-centric solutions and help people ask better questions, then you probably don't have either a distinct innovative product, or you might be just in commodities, which is fine. And commodities has a different type of research in it. But what we gathered from this, let's go back to the, we're here, let's go back to the spreadsheet. Tonight, our assignment is to take all of these business to consumer questions and move them more into B2B. And I'm going to describe to you what happened off camera. As we went through and looked more at the core questions, and we also looked more at the client's frequently asked questions, which Brian has put together, and they're terrific. We realized that we still didn't have all the questions that we need, and he's actually going to talk to the owner of this company tonight and tomorrow and find out if there's any distinct innovations that we need to know about so that we can develop. And what we're going to do is we're going to add another tab on this, and we're going to go through the frequently asked questions that they themselves provide, and we're going to hone those questions. And more importantly, in this conversation, we've discovered by me and Sue and Matt asking Brian questions like, having looked at their initial website, what are the innovations, what are the patents, what are the systems, and who are they for? We discovered that a large portion of their current successful marketing is offline. And this happened just by asking Brian questions, and the same thing that Brian used to do with his client. And not only are they offline, they're business to business. They've been very successful in business, but it's primarily business to business. And that becomes very important when developing your website, because you have a different audience. We also discussed that business to business companies, because I've done some online stuff for business to business, that usually they have buyers. And those buyers don't always search for products online. They don't always make their decisions online. So we need to be very careful. And then Sue had the great idea that it's probably useful for them to have a business to business website as well as a business to consumer website, because Brian informed us that they do want to branch out into business to consumer. And that's a huge takeaway, that the compression of asking more and more questions, which is work. I mean, it's taken us several hours today to go through this process. But more and more, that's becoming your job when it comes to creating that initial foundation, which is back on the pyramid of promotion. Let's go back there. If we had not done our footwork here, let me show you what would have happened. We would not have known what our industry solution DNA is all about, as well as we do now. And we're going to know even more tomorrow, right, Brian?
Yeah.
We would not necessarily have we would have built one site, possibly incorrectly.
They would have
targeting the wrong market all the way.
They would have tried to stuff all those markets into that main site.
We would have spent 25 years in Kraken and called Sue 20 years from now. Okay? And then wondered why we're still coming up with keywords. And when all we needed to do was ask some questions that are fairly simple, but maybe a little bit uncomfortable. Such as, okay, and hopefully I can say it on camera.
Sure.
Brian, is this company wealthy? Do they even want you to make sales? Do they care? Because I've had clients that don't care. I mean, really, I've had big branding accounts. If I wanted to, I could have sandbagged that account for 2 years. But that's not how we do things here. We want them to succeed. And then I asked you another question. Yes, they care if they make money. Most of their money is successful with very wealthy farms. And yes, it's painkiller products. These are things that we had to ask. But those painkiller products can probably be moved to the business to consumer market. And then you answer the question, no, they're not making in the business to consumer market very much. That's my job. Over here. So our job is to take the headlines, the pain, the questions from the business to business market into the business to consumer market, come up with better questions with Matt's spreadsheet, with our services, and now we've partitioned B2B from B2C. And one thing I haven't talked to a lot of our students about is partitioning B2B from B2C, especially on Facebook. I mean, if you're making 90% of your sales, Facebook, like Perry Marshall will tell you, Facebook is not where you want to go for B2B. You're not going to buy ball bearings and computer circuits on Facebook. And I've noticed that a lot of business-to-business companies now are starting to have Facebook buttons as well, just because everybody does. So that's what we learned today. I just wanted to give you some additional follow-up because we've had the camera turned off well over an hour, asking more and more uncomfortable questions. I want you to be comfortable with the questions. You got to be a bull in a china shop for a second, even if it's uncomfortable, to make sure that you don't stack systems on top of these initial foundations. This is where it all happens. This is why Jay Abraham charges $5,000 for the initial questionnaire. This is why market research companies charge $50,000 for their questions, because I'll close this videotape with a quick parable, and you've all probably already heard it. There's a story of a guy who charges $10,000 as a consultant. And all he does is come into the submarine, look at the control panel of 50,000 buttons all over the screen, and press one button and say, check please. And the guy goes, how can you charge me $50,000 for pressing one button? Because I knew which button to press. Similarly, this is where you decide which button or which buttons you're going to press. And most of the money of decision-making processes and proper setup is down here. So tomorrow, we'll see you. We're going to go over the frequently asked questions, the should ask questions. We're going to look at the whole patent innovations, and we're going to follow that through in the same way we did with core today.